Welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're going to cover why are signing service fees decreasing. Now, if you're new to the channel, all we do is notary signing agent content to help you start, grow, and scale your business. So if that sounds like it would be helpful to you, please subscribe to the channel and like and share this video if you think it's going to be helpful at the end as we go through it. Now, getting to the meat of the subject. Now, there are many reasons why signing service fees are decreasing and have been decreasing since the beginning of 2022 as rates started to go up in March of that year, and I'll start to break them down. But first, I'm going to give you the notary perspective, and then the signing service perspective, and then when I think fees will start to increase and what you can do about it. So stick around to the end for that advice. Now, from the notary perspective, I get it. I read it all the time for the last 2+ years on Facebook forums and groups about the argument of my fees should be increasing, not decreasing, because my expenses as a notary signing agent are increasing. So whether that's your operational expenses like your printer, toner, paper, your other office supplies, your background check, your E&O insurance, your gasoline if you're driving, or even if you have an EV, your electricity that increases that you're using to charge your vehicle. So all of those operational expenses have increased over time as they normally do. But your fees that are being offered to you from most, if not all, signing services have been decreasing in that same period of time. And the argument I hear constantly online is that, well, our fees should increase as inflation is increasing. That should increase. Now, that is a very logical argument, but it supposes one thing that is incredibly wrong, incredibly flawed, I should say. It is supposing that we are W-2 employees in a W-2 environment. If that was the case and you were employed by these signing services, you're correct. It would be expected that your salary would increase, or at worst, stay flat over time as inflation increases, although there is a possibility you may get fired if you were an employee directly hired by the signing service. But with that argument aside, it's assuming that we're a W-2. You are not a W-2. You are a 1099 contractor. It is a completely different environment, okay? Now, not to be rude or crude, but because you're a 1099 contractor and you're not an employee that we have to maintain a relationship with, now, good signing services will maintain relationships with and continue to do so, but the bad signing services, unfortunately, they don't have that viewpoint. They view 1099 contractors as disposable commodities like toilet paper and will go, like any commodity, with the cheapest price. Now, it is incredibly unfortunate that some signing services operate that way, but it's the reality we live in, okay? Good luck trying to change reality. It's better to adapt to it and come up with a plan to circumvent the things that are out there. So obviously, if you're working with or have experience working with signing services that are like that don't treat a notary signing agent well, that don't communicate well, they could care less about your expenses, how you do your business, then you have the luxury as a 1099 contractor to never ever work with them again, to leave them negative reviews if they have deemed them and earned them. So that is up to you. But that argument is flawed, does not work because you are a 1099 contractor. Now, from the signing service perspective, let me give you that perspective as a signing service owner for well over 3 years now. I can tell you with employees and a team that you're correct. Your expenses have gone up and my expenses have gone up. And as I grow my team and I add more staff, my expenses go up because I am one of the good signing services that's trying to, number one, take care of my team I have internally that are employees of mine, offer them better and better and better benefits. I'll give you an example. The first year when we started, I had Ethan. He is our current operations manager, but at the time, there weren't really any benefits other than 401k. I did offer out of the gate matching 401k, which no signing service I know offers that, but hey, we do that. That was it. There was no medical, dental, vision, etc. Now, fast forward 3 years, there's the matching 401k, there's the medical, vision, dental, paid time off, paid federal holidays, etc. So we have ever-increasing benefits because I want to increase and attract ever-increasing better and better talent. So my expenses increase, just like your expenses increase. And the 1099 notaries I work with, they're fantastic. I want to keep the relationship, but as a signing services expenses increase, they have to be mindful of their other costs. So now what most signing services, not ours, are going through in the last 2+ years since March of 2022 to now, as I'm filming this, end of May of 2024, in those 2+ years, they have seen a decrease in transactions the last 2+ years. Now, if your sales have gone down for 2 straight years and that sales and profit have gone out the door, well, to stay in business, to be profitable, you have to therefore what? Cut expenses. Now, what is the number one, not even close, the obvious number one expense that a signing service has? It is the 1099 notary fee that is offered to you. In most cases, that fee makes up 40 to 75% of their profits that's going out the door to the notary, okay? So if there's anywhere they're gonna start and focus on, that is it. That is the massive, massive chunk. So that's why naturally they're going to focus on cutting that expense down as much as humanly possible. Now, what is their number 2 expense? The number 2 expense is the wages and salaries for their internal team of employees that they have. So usually, for instance, the notaries that are getting paid, that expense, as I mentioned, 40 to 70% of gross revenue going out the door, and then another, let's say 15 to 25%, depending on their team and how well they compensate them in benefits and whatnot, will also go out the door. So that doesn't leave a huge amount left. So that's why they focus really hard on making sure the notary fees are in line or decreasing so that they can still stay in business. And at the same time, they're also letting team members go and firing internal team members that are not paying for themselves and giving the team and a company a return. So that's what they're going through internally the last 2 years, the signing services that are seeing decreased transactions. Now, those are signing services that are not good at what they do. And unfortunately, that is most of the signing services out there. The solopreneurs, the one-stop shops, the two-person shops, they don't know what they're doing. They're not great at what they do. They don't have consistency. They can't offer, 5% less error rate or even 1% less error rate like we are. We're the cream of the crop when it comes to error rates because we are extremely focused on making sure documents are perfect for our clients. But most of them are just not great at what they do, and therefore there's less trust among the clients they do have, and as their clients are having less transactions, they're trusting them less with purchases. And since the only thing out there right now is purchases, really almost zero refis to speak of, that's why their transactions are going down and down and down precipitously. They're losing clients, there's churn because they have inconsistency in their operations. And that is from the signing service perspective. The signing services that are not good, which unfortunately it's always the 80-20 rule, that's the bulk of them, okay? You still have the heroes out there that are increasing in transactions because they are consistent, they work with really good closers, they have good systems, and they really care about the clients and the notaries that they work with. But those are, again, the 20%. So that's the signing service perspective. So with that picture painted, probably asking the question, okay, Brad, when will signing service fees go up? And the answer there is when you have similar conditions as we did previously when the fees were higher, meaning more transactions and not 2, 3, 4% more, 10, 15, 20% more transactions. Now, are we going to have similar conditions as 2020 and 2021? No, that volume was insane because of the artificially decreased rates and the situation that was happening. But you can have increased transactions of 10+% if you have conditions enough where enough people will do refinances and lines of credit. Now, unfortunately, rates are going to slowly, very slowly decrease over the next 2 years, despite the hype from the end of last year that people were anticipating, up to 9 rate cuts. Unfortunately, that is not the reality. The reality is the Fed has to monitor a lot of different monthly reports in order to determine when they will start to cut the federal funds rate. And it's always underestimated how long that will take. Again, the average time historically between when they pause interest rate increases and they make that first cut is usually a year and a half or 18 months. Now, they last pause, if memory serves, September of 2023. We're not even at September of 2024 yet. So let that sink in. So if that historical average holds true, we won't see a first federal funds rate cut until potentially March of 2025, March of next year, in about 10 months. And while when I said that a few months ago, people probably wouldn't have believed me, now that I say it, you're like, that could be possible. Interest rate cuts from the Fed funds rate this year for 2024. It's very possible. And if you don't believe me, you can feel free to walk to CNBC and monitor the 10-year Treasury yields and the Fed notes and all those reports that come out every month. I look at them daily, every single day to be informed. That is a very real possibility. And that's what I'm kind of banking on, that all of 2024 we'll probably see 0 rate cuts from the Fed funds rate, number one. And even when we have that first Fed funds rate cut, there's going to be a little bit of a trail before that really impacts mortgage rates precipitously enough where enough lenders can offer a lower rate to get refis started and any kind of volume that would be meaningful to us as a notary signing agent to see more transactions, to see more fee increases, okay? So what are we gonna do about that? Well, if you're not going to see any significant decreases in federal funds rate for 2024, you'll probably see a little bit in 2025 and a little bit more in 2026 would be my guess. I would say instead of a 30-year mortgage being at 7%, next year it'll be at, 6.25% at best. And then 2026, maybe 5.5% at best, not counting buying rates down to maybe low flat 5, et cetera. But so that's where I think it will probably be. Now that could change. Something dramatic in the macroeconomy could change and impact that. But what are we going to do in the meantime, assuming nothing else changes? Well, you could wait 2+ years to have enough refis to, have more volume and have possibly increased fees, or you could not wait and just start marketing direct to title companies and start establishing those relationships now. That would be my suggestion. Don't wait for macro. Focus on what you can control, which is you can control establishing new relationship with title companies, realtors, lenders that can backdoor you into title companies and get you more business. And the other thing is, think about this. Remember, as rates increase, as those interest rates change next year and into the following year, what will happen for the notary environment? Well, as word of more refi volume is coming in, the first couple months, nothing will happen. But after a few months, a word has come in that more refis are happening. What will happen? You already know before I even say it, it's going to be more notaries will jump into the game, or older notaries will jump back into the game, and then you're going to have more people to fight through. So why wait for that? Just start marketing direct now. Now, if you're like, I'm nervous to market to direct title companies, I don't know how to do that, I'll help you out. Let me leave you a link of how to market to direct title companies, how to walk in the door, boots on the ground, cold turkey like I do, right here. And I hope that will help you tremendously. And I hope this video has added some perspective to you to understand why signing service fees are decreasing. They're not going to increase anytime soon. That's the reality, unfortunately. So worry about what you can control, which is getting direct business. Now, a couple things on that. Besides that video I linked earlier, I'll also mention in the description below the one-on-one notary coaching that I and 19 other signing service owners like me are involved in, that we do live weekly coaching every single Saturday. We have a call that's recorded that you can see. And right now there's already about 5 calls in the books, which is nice. So you get to see calls from people like Irene in Arizona, Calvin and Melina in Florida, Tina Scott in Texas. Obviously myself, I have a recorded call in there, and notary signing service owners from across the country. Very helpful and impactful stuff if you want to take your game to the next level. You get coaching from people that are 6- and 7-figure notaries and signing service owners. Now, if you have direct clients, I do want to say we always have that 10% commissions that we offer to notaries every single month that I direct deposit them whatever intro email they send to their client, and CC me on Brad@superlativesignings.com, and just say, hey, Brad is a tremendous resource. Him and his team can help you with those out-of-state closings I can't personally do, or Ron or bilingual or whatever you can't personally cover. We're happy to help, and we pay you direct deposit 10% every single month for whatever you send our way. So win all around. Now, I hope this video has helped you tremendously. If that offer I just mentioned doesn't appeal to you because you're thinking about starting a signing service, I'll also link that video here. You're welcome. And that will help you tremendously. And I appreciate you watching to the end of the video. You are the 1%, the diehards, the people that's like me that watch YouTube videos all the way to the end. I hope you have learned a lot. And again, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like and share the video with someone that could use it and benefit from it. And until next time, happy signings and peace.